welcome to the rest of the SEC show presented to you by Geico. Alongside Spencer Tillman, I'm Tim Brando. Jason Horowitz hopefully will be back with us next week. He's with us in memory this week. Obviously today, Kentucky and Georgia, one of the really outstanding games. Spencer, Kentucky was up in this game 10-0, and then Georgia just took command of the game. Knowshon Moreno, who had been throttled early, managed to get over 100 yards again. This is the 5th consecutive week he has been able to do that. I know he can't be in the Heisman race. He is a freshman, but there's no doubt he's the most valuable player to a team from the midseason on.
From the time that Thomas Brown got injured, Lumpkin went down with the problem. I think this guy is the most valuable player for the second half. No question about that. I think what he does, he brings them that emotional pickup that they needed. And today, weathering this game the way that they did after 4 emotional weeks, consecutive weeks, this told me something about the character of this ball club and specifically what Knowshon Moreno means to this Georgia Bulldog team.
Something to think about. Even though they don't control their own destiny, they'll have to sit and watch. And you know, today they were watching Vanderbilt. They go, please, please take care of it. Don't be Vanderbilt again, please. Because Vandy had a 24-9 lead. They'll be watching the game, obviously, between Kentucky and Tennessee next week. But, frankly, I think they're a BCS team, even if they don't play in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
This is arguably the best 2-loss team in America.
Well, if you're judging what they've done from the second half on, I think they are. You'd be hard-pressed to find somebody playing any better football.
Speaking of Tennessee and Vanderbilt today, the 9 lives of Philip Fulmer continue.
Isn't that amazing?
Unreal. Honfeld had a chance to win it from 49 yards with 33 ticks left. He missed the field goal, and Tennessee escapes with yet another victory. Eric Ainge making some plays down the stretch, had a nice punt return to get it to the 30, and they were able to turn that in to a field goal to eventually have it as the game winner.
And you know how bizarre it was, Timmy? Vanderbilt had come in to this game outscoring opponents like 76-35 in the fourth quarter. So they had a chance and a track record coming into this week to be able to close, and they just couldn't get it done.
They were trying to get into a bowl game at Vanderbilt, bowl eligible, for the first time since the Hall of Fame Bowl. It's no longer in existence.
Was that 82?
Way back. George McIntyre was coaching back in those days. But unfortunately, it didn't happen for them. Tennessee now makes sure that there'll only be 10 bowl-eligible teams out of the Southeastern Conference. I want to talk a little bit about that situation, the bowl spots that are out there. And each conference has tie-ins for all the different bowl games that are out there. And the SEC and the Big Ten are both over the limit, okay?
That's not a bad thing, though.
It's not a bad thing. The SEC is at 8. Those are the bowl spots that are available. Now, look at the bowl-eligible teams that each of these conferences have. Now, some of them are not meeting the number. Pac-10, you look at the situation, +2 coming out of the Big 12. But I think the reality here is something to take into consideration is in the SEC, yes, you can be bowl-eligible at 6, but the mandate is you must take, if you're a bowl committee, a 7-win team if there's one out there.
And that's good and bad, though, because the SEC is one of those conferences, obviously, because there's so much strength from top to bottom. There are some teams that probably should qualify that won't necessarily in the end.
Well, let's after what happened to Alabama today,
oh my God, that would be
Louisiana Monroe,
case.
Northeast Louisiana University. What a win for Charlie Weatherby. Incredible. But now Alabama has got to get that 7th win, and they're playing the Iron Bowl next week trying to get it.
What do you think?
Otherwise, they'll be at the mercy of one of these other at-large spots that they may be getting from one of the conferences that didn't fulfill their bowl tie-ins.
What do you think, an Independence Bowl right now for them?
Well, if they win.
If they win.
They've got to win to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, Arkansas is in the fray. Mississippi State is in the mix for the Independence Bowl as well.
That was an expensive loss for Nick Saban.
Very expensive loss. And congratulations to that team. Charlie Weatherby's done a wonderful job, once coached at Navy. They've got some outstanding players in the Sun Belt. Look, Troy's played well. Florida Atlantic's got a great team.
I agree with what you said. You put another jersey on Troy. They're an SEC team. They've got that kind of offense, spread you out, and they play quality defense.
Without question, it will be a long week in preparation for the Iron Bowl for Alabama. Let's talk about the stock up, stock down teams. Beginning with those teams that are playing very, very well. We mentioned Georgia, obviously. I think Illinois, by virtue of their win. Michigan, to me, if I'm the Capital One Bowl, I'm like, do I want that team? No, I think I'd rather have Ron Zook coaching against Florida in the Capital One Bowl. Imagine if that happened. And that would, if Georgia gets that second BCS spot, for the SEC.
You know, we heard so much coming in this year about Les Miles winning with Nick Saban's players. We didn't hear nearly as much people talking about Urban Meyer winning with Ron Zook's players. But I would love to see that matchup come back again as well.
I think Illinois, I mean, this is an incredible team, what he's done with Mendenhall and Juice Williams. You know, I got calls on my radio show this past week from Florida fans going, oh, well, you know, Coach Zook, we always loved him.
Right.
We're really proud for him.
Right.
What happens if you have to play him in the Capital One Bowl? All right, in terms of those teams that stock is falling, Alabama at the top of that list, and Miami, they struggled. Minnesota,
I mean, Tim Brewster, what has he got, one win there?
You know, I think you look back at the Glenn Mason fire. He's going to get a job probably this year, Glenn Mason. They have a knee-jerk reaction when they let him go.
I agree.
When they lost that bowl game last year.
Yeah, that was a controversial hire. Tim Brewster coming from San Diego. This is his rookie year. He's trying to get 2 wins to even make it respectable. At the end of the day, I think they're scratching their heads about that move there.
I don't think there's any doubt that coming up this week, the Tennessee-Kentucky game will have everyone on the edge of their seats because it is about winning the East and that big potential matchup against the #1 Tigers of LSU. And let's not also forget that Darren McFadden may be playing for his coach's life. A lot of talk today. Lloyd Carr may be announcing his retirement on Monday. Houston Nutt, published reports have him out at Arkansas. He'll have to deal with that before our game on the day after Thanksgiving.
They're reporting that, but as of today, right now, this moment, Houston Nutt is not aware. Anybody of any consequences in the position.
You talked to Keith Jackson, your old teammate at Oklahoma who works the Arkansas broadcast today.
Right, and he says that Houston Nutt at this moment right now does not know from anyone that is in a position to make that decision that he's not going to be the coach there next year.
All right, that's the story for now, and he is sticking to it. And for Jason Horowitz, who wasn't with us, we'll see him come Thanksgiving. Spencer T., take care, everybody. We'll see you next week on the Geico SEC, rest of the SEC show.